If you've been told expensive code approach boot camps will get you laid in 2026 for a day game, you've been lied to. I have 681 laid in poll testimonials to prove that most day game coaches out there, besides me, are selling the treatment, the expensive treatment, not the cure. My cure is cheaper. So, did you know that boot camps are big businesses? Once you watch this video, you're going to see how the scam works. And when you finally understand it, you'd be like, whoa, you've been tricked all along. So, they get you to worship them first through optics. So, what they do is that they get models to stand next to them and they're giving advice videos. So, for example, they might be some minority, they stand next to a woman, and if her looks are higher than what they gotten before, yet their SMV is lower, they're either using status. I mean, they're either like using money if they don't have status. Or you see shitty phone number closed videos that don't mean anything. But you assume the big secret is that you assume they must be good because of the halo effect, and you fall for the brainwashing because you think, well, if they got some height, they got some muscles, or they have any other irrelevant things, then you say they must be good. Because you right now, when the economy is shit, and you, for example, are looking at my halo effect and saying John is not as good looking as the other Asian dating coaches or any of the global gaming coaches, then therefore we don't listen to him because delusions have four traits. Number one, you become delusional. Number two, you half-ass everything, thinking that tactics and game is everything. Number three, I mean, if I really want to lie, I can just tell you everything is all game. And number three, you will actually start to have like do the wrong decision, fail, and number four, you'll quit. But because of those low self-esteem traits, you start to fall for their scams, their global game platform scamming network scams, because they're more popular. So they want to make you feel helpless. Like, oh no, it's like fucking, there's so much Indian hate out there. Yet my students are getting Indian love, which is the opposite of Indian hate. So it was all a lie all along. They've been gaslighting you to make you feel bad, so that way they can make some more money. That's what's happening. You must not fall for the scams. Otherwise, when they make you feel bad, then that's how they make the money. So once you feel helpless, the only solution, or should I say treatment, not a cure, is always the boot camps. Have you noticed that? Or bencho camps, because it makes them more money as in 2026. My is expensive as a boot camp. Their boot camps are thousands of dollars sold to engineers. However, my one's cheaper because I want more students late. That's more important to me, that they get results rather than sell a bunch of boot camps or bencho camps. I know that sounds very counterintuitive, but you have to understand how the scam works. Basically, in order for them to scam you for a boot camp, is that they have to make sure their courses don't work. They're low ticket courses. Otherwise, why would you take a boot camp if it works? So this is how the treatment is like the snake oil works. Okay. That's how the snake oil works. And when it doesn't work, it's called famoosing the goose. It means tricking you first, getting you stuck. And when you feel like they might tell you, oh, it's all Indian hate, you are enough, all these bullshit. Or maybe if you're Asian, right? Oh, no, the media treats you bad, right? This is how Asians are treated because of some 200. This is what ABCs of Attraction does. Oh, because it's some kind of like $200,000 report. Therefore, Asians can only measure up to a Caucasian man if he makes $200,000 according to a university report. They wound you up and getting you stuck. You get no results. Like ABCs doesn't have anyone late for Daygame in the Western country. Maybe once in a Latin country last year. That's about it. What the fuck is contacting me right now? All right, let's see who that is. Fucking probably a scammer or something. Anyways, let's continue. So they didn't get anyone laid for a global game platform scammer networks of popular coaches this year or last year due to the tariff era. But that's the funny thing, because I'm thinking to myself, this is the first time where I can post like 8 video testimonials that are brand new, and nobody seems to give a flying fuck at all. Like they don't even care. I've never seen a year where people just simply don't care. Like they're nothing but indifference. Just let me just send this to other people first. All right? Because if you guys don't care, then yo, join my YouTube live. Right? Does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna send this to other people. Just bear with me here. I'm trying my best to focus. I can't do 2 things at once. Because if we don't have an audience, that'll be bad. You know, there's nobody here. All right. I've done the best as I can. I cannot do anything else. So I'm gonna continue. But sheep still falls for it because of optics. I know it sounds crazy because we're so used to hearing that it's about day game boot camps in the summertime that'll get you laid. While you might think that's important, I'm going to share with you 3 exposed industry secrets with you today that's going to revolutionize the way you realize day game boot camps haven't worked since 2024, 2025, and 2026. You might be wondering, like, if people are not getting laid from day game boot camps, why would they take it? Because people are delusional. They have no self-esteem. They don't care anymore. They have completely lost it. They've completely lost it. So it was inflation era, right? At first. I think this is around 2024 when the prices of things went up. Then the tariff 1 and tariff 2. The first tariff was in August last year, 2025. The second tariff was in August. In February, along with the Iran war. So that's what happened. Because of that. Okay, let's see. How many people are joining? I'm going to keep talking. I don't care if nobody's here. I'm just going to give myself a thumbs up and continue listening to it. Right? Because I have to get the message out there. Maybe I can change the title a little bit better. Maybe how code approach. I'm going to change the title right now. Code approach boot camps scams you 2026. All right. I'll try a different title. If this one doesn't work, then I'll just keep changing it until people show up. Okay, so that's good. Thank you for the likes and also showing up. But the Iran war was when people's money were really affected along with the tariff era. So the cortisol from it affects their voices, turning women off, having minus emotional points. They're not in the zero, like they're not plus, they're minus. So that's where they don't get laid. So popular global game platform scamming networks of coaches are debating each other for nonsense videos when they get nobody laid. But people don't care anymore. People are so MGTOW now that they don't understand the concept of even like getting their students laid is a foreign concept to them. So what's up, Big Doge. Hey, what's up? Go ahead, ask any questions, right? If you want. I'm glad you're here. So for boot camps, right now, when I look at the students, right, I look at the kind of people that are joining. And on Global Game Platform Scamming Network or Game Global, they have like literally zero people laid across all the coaches in this year and last year. Like zero. Their stuff used to work before or barely worked many years ago. But somehow people don't care. They see like a late testimonial. What overrides their logic is the halo effect. When they look at a tall Caucasian coach or some muscular coach or some good looking coach, like ABC's, that guy, for some reason, that when he took his Ozempic, I was joking. I don't know if he's actually took Ozempic, but somehow he looks better looking than me. What the fuck? And stronger. How the fuck did that happen? Like seriously, I'm probably the lowest bottom of the barrel in terms of like physical appearance. I'm okay looking, but they're listening to everybody else. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I've been smear campaigned by a half Latino guy to Tokai Zen, and that also probably hurts during a bad economy. It's almost like level one people that can afford like the $5 booklet to maybe elite 30. They're no longer level one. They're like almost like level -1. They jump to spot 0 -1. Level two, who can afford Elite Bundle Resurrections last year, now has gone to level 0. They have no money. They're just paycheck to paycheck. Level three, right, that can spend thousands, can only afford level one, which is Elite 30. That's why I want to promote. That makes more sense to take Elite 30. But the thing is, my coaching does not require boot camps or bench hold camps. But because people are so delusional, it's almost like they have the same thing as a woman's brain. They're the ultimate in female nature. For women, this is how they think. They think relative SMV, 20 out of 35. Looks is out of 10. Social skills is 2.5 points. Social calibration is 2.5 points. Emotional control, 2.5 points. And game, 2.5. 20 out of 35 gets you laid. We all know that. I talk about this over and over. But just like women, whenever they see a tall Asian coach like Queefing canceled Casanova, they think, oh, he's got big muscles and he's tall. They want to rest their head on his chest, right? Like his pecs. That's how Asian guys think. Or ABCs, oh, he's better looking than I am now. It's like, well, you might as well go to him. That means there's no logic behind it for the lay testimonials, because if the students are getting laid for my coaching, I have less students now, then you most likely get laid too if you're a good student and you're not a zombie. But because of the economy issues, people have declined mentally. They have declined so much in such a way that they lost their mind. They lost the plot. Now they're thinking relative SMV, just like a woman. Then number two, emotional reasoning. So these global game platform scamming networks will emotionally reason with you that you are Indian, you are not enough. You are Asian, you are not enough. It's all about Indian hate, but my students get Indian love. My Asian students, they still get laid. But a lot of Asians have turned MGTOW. They have given up in 2025, and they're going to night game sort of boot camps from ABCs or going Latin world tours. It's like, what kind of message does that tell Asians? That you are not enough if you don't go to night game, which is easier with alcohol? That you are not enough unless you're in a Latin country? Like, what does that tell people? It tells people that you are not enough as an Asian, so don't bother. But if you can afford as an engineer to fly over there and pay $7,000 for a boot camp, then you are enough. That's not good for the inner game. But this is how they scam you. So number one, relative SMV. Number two, emotional reasoning and logic last. I'm appealing to your logic, which is a stupid, but I'm not a marketer. I'm just telling you guys the cold hard truth. That is not like, this is the raw version of it. This is not like a marketing message, you know? So, I'm not going to grow any taller. I'm not going to look any better. I don't physically age, but I'm not going to get much better than this. This is all I got, unless I get some kind of bone, like, adjusting therapy that gets me taller. But this is as good as it gets. 5'7", and a bit skinny fat. That's about the best as I can do. So let's see here. Are you still going to film hybrid opener course with someone for perhaps a few people? I don't know who. Does anyone want that? That's what I'm thinking. If I film it, what if nobody cares? Because level one became level -1 or a 5-figure debt or four or 5-figure debt. Level 2 became level 0, which paycheck to paycheck, they cannot afford it. That means even if I sell the course for $50 or $75, they're not going to buy it. But maybe, how about this? In case somebody wants it, I'll be on standby to do it if necessary. But there needs to be enough people that wants to buy this course without going direct, giving direct compliments. And level 3 becomes level 1, which they can buy Elite 30, but they can work their way up, paying the course piece by piece. Elite Bundle Resurrections to Elite Access. And then Elite Tonality Mastery, which is part 3. But as I'm saying, why are you watching Game Global debating each other when they don't get anyone laid? But you no longer care because I can post 8 video testimonials brand new, and the level 1 becomes level minus like 1. That's what I'm facing. Only level 3 people are buying. So maybe I have no choice but to make that course, but maybe we should make a different course. Maybe we should make an Insta-Date course or something. From open to Insta-Date, how you get Insta-Date every single time you go out. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Who wants to buy something like that? Who wants to get Insta-Date every time you go out? What's the fastest way to get Insta-Date? Like every single day you go out. Like almost like no matter what, you follow all these things, then you get Insta-Date. Hybrid opener is fine, but maybe that should be the first course. I don't know. But if anyone wants to buy the course, let me know. We should put it to a vote. Because last time I put it to a vote, nobody wants to buy it. All right? That would be cool. That's right. It would be cool. So, as I was saying, that they just stand next to women and you assume that they're good because they pay for models. I don't want to do that. I could pay for models too, but I don't want to do that because it feels wrong. Even if they're declining SMV, they have more of a double chin, but the women are getting more attractive than before. I mean, unless it's status maxing, which they don't have status, then they're obviously faking their results. And you assume that becomes a major problem. It's all assumed. That's how they get you. So I'm Johnny Elite. I'm the world's best day game coach. More students laid for day game coaching than every other day game coach in global game platform scammer network combined. I have 681 laid in pro testimonials. Who has 681 laid in pro testimonials from global game platform scamming network? Who has it? They can't even get more than like 20 or 30. Come on now, or 35 at most. Mostly they have 3 because if a student gets laid and they're white, they might get laid like 8 months afterwards playing a huge numbers game, but they cannot collect the testimonial. And then all the other minorities get no results except that they learn about their sticking points. They learn about their sticking points. And that's bullshit. Is there that day game boot camps? Okay, so what is that? Day game boot camps are absolute scam. You won't get laid in 2026 for day game with their boot camps. Is that their day game coaches already made their money from this year fooling the sheeps? Their boot camps from global game platform scamming network are completely full. Like all the level 1 and level 2 people. Level 1 can only afford $5 to $400. Level 2 can only afford like up to $1,000. Does that make sense? So for Mr. D, right? You got Elite Bundle Resurrections last time in 3 pieces, but you are level 2. Does that make sense? Level 3, they can spend 2,000 to 50,000. No problem. They can drop that for a global game platform scammer network bootcamp. These guys hype each other up, and people don't even get laid. They don't even care about lay testimonials. The only lay testimonials they get is maybe their student was like in Latin countries swiping on Tinder, getting 900 matches and 12 dates and only 1 lay. That's all they can get. Or else they have like a really good looking Asian guy who might get, and then all of a sudden they're just dick riding that. Like, who gives a shit? It's like Tinder or Night Game. Like, it's like saying to Asians that you are not enough. I believe you are enough. Look at how many Asian students have gotten laid. Short guys and stuff like that. I believe Asians have a lot of potential, but they've given up. A lot of the Asian students are day gamers. I'm not talking about the whole Asian population, but lots of them has given up. So, good afternoon. I'm on my way to meet a new girlfriend. Okay, congratulations. So, is this from day game, night game, or Tinder? That's what I'm curious. But yeah, Marco is not training with me right now. So, but still, I'm glad you got a girlfriend. So he can't afford it. He's no longer level 1. He becomes like level -1. Daygame. Okay, congratulations. So, okay, who worships optics standing next to women they hired and sheep still assume that they must be good? It's all assumed. Halo effect and plausibility. Halo effect. So what's a halo effect, for example? Give it a thumbs up, Marco. Any bit helps. Right? There's 2 thumbs up, but any bit helps. Nice work, dude. Congrats. Yeah, congratulations, Marco. You saw your other classmate getting laid too, right? So you got 3 lays, but so anyways, it's all assumed. Halo effect, plausibility. They stand next to women. They're not short. They have muscles. They could be white, black, or black looking. And then you assume because they have the halo effect, they must be good. They don't need to show proof. It's all assumed from delusional sheeps. They're brainwashed. So I'm going to share with you 3 exposed industry secrets about day game coaches already made their money from this year fooling the sheeps, right? So how do the day game bootcamp scams work? I'm going to expose everything I know. Like for me personally, I've been teaching since 2012 in boot camps. So at first I taught immersion programs. I was stealing students from another Asian dating coach. I'll just go there. I'll get all their phone numbers and I'll teach them all. That's how I started teaching day game, by stealing their students and teaching it on my own. After a while, so many years, I was teaching immersion, not one-on-one boot camps. Later on, switched to one-on-one boot camps. This is around like 2013 or something like that. I was teaching direct game. So boot camps. Like I'm giving this industry insider secrets. When I was teaching online and not teaching boot camps as much, I was still teaching boot camps, but less. But I started in 2016. That's when I had my business online. I had a blog, which I still blog today. You know, I blog in it so much. It's just like, but it's hard to find on Google now. It's not indexing or showing up. It's bullshit. You know, they're trying to erase me. Then after it gets smear campaigned by a fucking loser in the Kaizen program who didn't even show up and do any of the work, did not approach, did not do the mindset playlist, I'm going to fucking sue that guy. But we'll worry about that later. The lawsuit's going to happen within like 3 months or something. Don't tell him that. His name is Sebastian, but I cannot go into any more details about it. I'm going to keep it. Fucking asshole. Since he lives in Vancouver, right? You know, I'm just saying he's very suable, extremely suable. Or he's nomadic around the world sometimes, but asshole. But yeah, I mean, regardless of that. But the thing is that who worships optics standing next to women, right? And the sheeps, right? I made a bunch of videos about sheeps in the video section. Have you noticed that? Of the student getting laid 3 times. But before that, it was all about the sheeps worshipping. Because there's a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I think they're better than you because I identify with them." It's like, well, because they're good. It's like, dude, they're just standing next to women. And also, when you look at them, it's like, well, look, like, where are their day game lay testimonials? There is none for their boot camps. It's like such a stupid, flawed argument of sheeps worshiping. So now it's a worship economy, and the people that are software engineers, they're affected by the AI taking over their jobs. But the people that are software type of engineers, they're the only ones with money. They're all the ones taking the boot camps. It's become a bigger business. In 2026, when I have cheaper courses like Elite 30, Elite Bundle Resurrections, less people can afford it because they're more poor. However, on the flip side of things, the people that are taking boot camps, the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. Because level 2, which can afford $1,000, is now at level 0. They jumped 2 spots down. Level 1 is like -1. It's not 0, -1. They're in debt. They're 5-figure, 4-figure debt. They cannot afford this stuff because of the tariff and the Iran war. And the people that can afford boot camps, level 3, for my people, is going to be level 3 is going to be level 1. They're going to get Elite 30 first and work their way up in the 3 pieces. However, for the rest of the industry, the only ones who can afford boot camps are the global game platform scammer network, where they get nobody laid. They don't get called out anymore because they took down tall self-proclaimed high lay count guy unfortunately, is YouTube. So there's nobody calling them out. They're like weeds growing everywhere, brainwashing. They're infecting everyone's brain. And there's no counter to it. And no matter how many people get laid, nobody cares because they're poor. And I'm not insulting you to say, like, oh, I dislike you because of it. No, I'm saying I understand where you're coming from. I'm here to help. The thing is that if I get less students, I have more attention to you. And I want students that are capable of getting laid with less cortisol effects. I'm not asking for much, but in 2026, if I have to rescue people for Elite Bundle Resurrections, I would say that I want somebody that is like not 5'3", somebody doesn't have a double chin. I'm a little bit fat today. I ate a lot of food yesterday. So I want somebody that yeah, is not chubby. I want somebody that's not receding for the hair because it's cortisol stress. I want somebody who has a good, like, they can still build muscles. That's a cortisol effect. I have a lot of people that get very thin because cortisol can eat muscles, but not for everybody. And people that have like a voice that doesn't talk like super fast, right? Like they're stuttering. And also, I'm looking for people that don't have money problems. I know these are 6 things, right? I know I had the 4 things on my chart, but I believe these things are very important. So that's why I'm looking for this type of people. Just hold on a second. Let me just grab some. Ah, all right. I forgot to put this thing over here. My Neo surround unit. It's supposed to shoot out a wave or a beam or something. So that way it relaxes me, right? So I don't take ashwagandha anymore or very little. I just this $800 device just shoots out this beam, makes me more relaxed and less double chinned. I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit double chinned today, tiny bit. So I'm going through a lot of cortisol stress. So that's the unit over there. But cortisol, okay, now we segue into this thing. Cortisol is very dangerous, guys. Cortisol can really affect a lot of areas of your life. Cortisol, if it can wipe out your hair, what the fuck kind of hormone is this? This is the winner or loser effect. The more you win, the more testosterone you get. So you take more risk. So when you look at my when you look at my Indian student, the more he gets laid, the more risk he takes, the more he approaches, the more he does his homework. The more cortisol you get, the more you stutter, the faster you talk, the more depressed you sound. So the winner and loser effect. Why is my voice okay? Doesn't matter. So the more you win, the more testosterone you get. The more you lose, the more cortisol. That's why those 6 traits. Your voice is fucked, money issues, because you can't focus, you waste money. You lose your hair, you lose your muscle mass, you lose your memory, especially your memory, and you also lose your what was the first one? You get a double chin. Does that make sense? That's why I'm using this Neo surround unit so I don't double chin. Now it feels better. You're like, well, can you really feel it? Yeah, you can definitely feel it. You know, ugh. I'm very sensitive to like brainwaves and stuff. So this thing has a formula. I can feel it now. It's very relaxing. It's almost like your nervous system relaxes. I know that sounds very weird, right? Like, how can this machine do that? But man, I can feel it. Like, I'm very sensitive. I could turn on like, in case I want to lose like, if I have a lot of inflammation, I could turn on the pain-free mode. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why my voice is sounding kind of fucked, but okay. So now you can actually get laid with my coaching for Daygame because it is the cure. So we're going to talk more about the cure versus the treatment. Okay. So how does the cure and the treatment work? And this is a good idea, right? So nice to work. Okay. So basically, the cure means if you found a cure to cancer, right? And all the doctors will want to kill you because the treatment of it makes more money. Does that make sense? They'll try to take you out. You find a cure to mental trauma, then all the other psychologists taking 2 years or something, and you're spending $200 per visit, that becomes a treatment. But you're saying psychology is like that? Psychology exactly like that. It's a treatment. It's not the cure. I have a mental trauma cure program. You see that? My business revolves around the cure. What do you mean, John? It's almost like, okay, I'm charging you less money, but here's the cure. But when I do that, global game platform scamming network is like, well, John, we're about the treatment. We're not about the cure. We have to brainwash them and get them to boot camps. Boot camps are like $5,000 a head, $3,000 to $5,000 or $7,000 for ABC's Latin World Tour, or Queef and Cancel Casanova's $25,000 World Tour for Latin countries. That is the treatment. Oh, but some of the treatment, you might win at Tinder and you might win at night game. But what about day game? Well, nobody cares, John. It's like, shut up about day game. Not even other day game coaches like UMP or other coaches. None of them can get people consistently laid anymore in 2026 and 2025. It's the treatment because you assume he must be good because he's white and they're sexualized it. Therefore, no, you can only get women that are 3 out of 10. But that was before, like 2 years ago. Like consistently 3 out of 10. And ABCs of low self-esteem. Only one person laid from day game, but Asians are like, well, we don't want to stretch. We don't want to learn day game. We don't want to do drills. We just want something quick. We just want to bulk up our bodies, do a bunch of compound lifts, wear a black shirt, go to night game, and then stand next to like everybody at the nightclub. When everyone leaves, you have a big Ninja Turtle body, then the Asian woman would choose you. You see that? That's the mindset. As much as I love the Asians and I'm trying to help the Asians, that was my main goal. The only reason why I switched the goal from trying to save all the Asians is because they turned their back on me last year to boot camps. This year, ABCs will make a killing. They'll have so many students scamming them to fucking night game or Latin countries because they're brainwashed because of the excessive halo effect of the coach after taking Ozempic. But I have no proof. This is my opinion. I'm just speculating. But did they take Ozempic? I don't know. But they have that Ozempic face. You know, good for them, right? I'm too afraid of needles to do it. I'm a pussy when it comes to needles. You put a needle anywhere near me, I would scream like a girl. Like, what the fuck? I would scream so hard. I remember one time, okay, I'm going to share some embarrassing stories. Okay, I haven't told anyone this before, but I'm very afraid of needles, so I can't take steroids. When I was in high school, I was the last one to take an inoculation shot. I'd be called to the place to take it. Everyone's laughing at me. It's like, you know, like, why is he not taking his shots? And then afterwards, they start punching me in the arms. All these guys, after they get a shot, they punch everyone in the arm 3 times. They're like hard as they can. When I was even younger, right, I had a white nurse. Maybe she didn't like Asian babies like me. I was bleeding everywhere because she didn't clot the thing. So I had a big trauma. When I got a little bit older, I found my dad has hepatitis B. My uncle died from hepatitis B. I haven't shared this with anyone, but it's like, what the fuck? Do you all have liver disease? What the fuck is that? I became OCD after that. My mom caught a staph infection. Her face was just turning into like all red, like a zombie. And then my dad at the time, he got hepatitis B. Or he was born with it too, because the grandmother had it. I did not have hepatitis B, but it scared the living shit out of me. I had to wash my hands like 50 times a day after that. You know? But I was so scared of needles. I was so fucking scared because I had to go there 6 times or something getting hepatitis B shots. It was so fucking painful. There was no instances it was not painful, but I digress. But I think the point I'm trying to say is that I can't take Ozempic, and I don't want to pay for models to stand next to me like other global game coaches. Not the expensive treatment that they have. These are marketers that are dating coaches. And I know it's hard to see that if you're delusional, but I'm telling you guys the truth here. I have nothing to gain. There's no marketing angle here. Oh, am I eliminating the bootcamp option? No, I'm just telling you guys the truth. I put the raw meat in front of you, okay? And it's really hard to look at. Open wound and all. This is how my YouTube lives are. I just tell you guys the truth, and I let the truth sit where they may. It may be uncomfortable because some of you are thinking about, oh, maybe I should take a boot camp. The ADHD guys who are Asperger's who can afford boot camps, software engineers, be like, I'll take a boot camp. But then in reality, anyone that is level 2 and 3 or just level 0 and level -1, they cannot afford a boot camp. Oh, but here's the thing. They're filling their entire boot camps. They're making more money this year than ever because the delusions are higher because of the loser effect, because of the bad economy. Because of the bad economy, people's brains have flipped upside down. They have flipped upside down and they just worship the halo effect. They're just like women. They look at the 20 out of 35 relative SMV to the coach. And then all of a sudden they're emotionally reasoning. So they can manipulate your emotions by saying, oh, Indians have it harder. Bullshit. My students get Indian love, not Indian hate. They tell you all these things. But in reality, that's the funny thing. It's all about filling their boot camps. Yeah, I mean, in 2025 and 2026, right? I think what was Judgment Day for most day gamers was the tariff. Tariff is in Terminator 2, the movie, it was called Judgment Day. That's the day when the machines become sentient and take over humankind. The day the day gamers from level 1 and level 2 died, the ones who can afford Elite Bundle Resurrections, was exactly August 2025. I remember it like it was yesterday. Donald Trump dropped the first tariff. And then people were like, fuck, man, they cannot afford that shit. All the prices start going up. And then people start losing their mind. I still had a few more students then. But however, after that, there's a second tariff in 2026 in February. That's not only did we have one judgment day, we had 2 judgment days. So people that cannot afford a boot camp, they're completely priced out. That means they'll pretend to look at my Elite 30 course and they'll be like, oh, let me think about it. I'm interested. And then they'll be like, oh, no, I'm not going to take it. I was like, well, why not? Think with your higher self-esteem, altruistic gear. Your life would change when you can do it. They're like, nah. It's like the choice is made for them. Because level 1 people that can afford $5 to $400 are now like 5-figure debt. They're like $17,000 in debt. They jump back 2 spots. Level 2 who can afford $1,000 for Elite Bundle Resurrections jump to level 0. And for level 3, they jump to level 1 where they have to work their way up by getting the courses separately. And maybe they might take mental trauma cure afterwards if they get more lays. So right now, the people are really priced out and they have no choice. They really jump backwards. But the bootcamp people, they're making a killing off of it. This has become a big business of selling boot camps. They don't need to get anyone laid. These people that behaves like women with their female nature are so happy just to worship the coach with more muscles and height and race and halo effect that for them, they're literally just sucking them off or putting their head on their chest and they're just so happy. They're like good, obedient sheeps. Nobody has to get laid. They just need to show a bunch of reviews like ABCs of attraction. ABCs of attraction. I'm going to say this. 2 of my students that are formerly ABCs of attraction, they actually pay for the reviews. You're like, well, do they give cash to the students? No. They'll tell the student, if you give a good review, we'll give you one of those online digital courses for free. So they're actually paying for reviews. And you're like, well, is there any proof of that? The students are willing to, I have that on screenshots. They're willing to actually speak out if necessary. So ABCs of attraction pays for good reviews. So it looks like they have a lot of good reviews, but reviews doesn't mean they're actually getting their dicks wet from Daygame. Maybe some of them might get like some Tinder lays, and maybe one guy from Daygame that's pretty good looking in Latin country. But in reality, people are fooled by reviews because they're too ADHD to investigate to see if the student actually got laid for Daygame. Daygame is harder. It's not the same results. But the Asian mindset for day gamers is that they're more like they're pragmatic. They don't want to take 21 days or 30 days to develop a new habit. They want something to happen right away. They just want to swipe, go Latin country until it works. They want something that works right away without any effort. Oh, if they have to dirty bulk, eat a lot of food and do compound, they'd rather do something simple like that. Looks max. Oh, status max, go Latin country. That's the mindset. Or Indians have been so brainwashed by them telling you it's all about Indian hate. I get nothing but Indian love for my students. You look at all my Indian students, they all dress the same, they're whitewashed. But no matter how much logic, I'm fighting against a system. I'm fighting against a system where it's like relative SMV, emotional reasoning, and logic last. I cannot overcome the halo effect. That's why in the past, sometimes I don't show my face on the video section so you guys can listen to my message. When you look at Johnny Lee, he's not that good looking. He's decent looking. He has good fashion, but he's not like good looking compared to the white guy. So we don't give a fuck what he has to say. That's the Asian mindset. They really are like Asian women, but they're like Asian men. They think like that. The ultimate in female nature. But that's too bad because I want to help the Asians. I've gotten so many Asians laid. I'm the only one that can do it. I was going to post another Asian laid testimonial that was brand new. Guy got a 21-year-old stripper. And I didn't post at the end of the year because people would stop caring. But now everything is about boot camps. Boot camps are making the biggest killing. Boot camps, if you were a day game coach, right? And you want to think to yourself, first principles, how will you make the most amount of money from people? I would say, what's the highest price item? Boot camps. That's what I would do, number one. Number two, how do we get them in the boot camps if we have day game courses, digital courses? We make sure they don't work. So they go to boot camp. Number three, how do we get them to worship us so that way they'll actually watch the courses and go into boot camp? By showing number closed videos or hiring models standing next to them for advice videos. You see that? If I think first principles, how I'll reverse engineer it. What will you guys do? If you were a dating coach, will you do the same thing? Of course you would. So now you don't have to show any proof. You can literally just stand next to women all day, and then the sheep's assuming because you have halo effect, you must be good. Because they can get laid before, not this year or last year, but they can get laid in 2023 and before from a woman that's 4 out of 10 in looks over and over for day game. If it's that easy for 4 out of 10 in looks, but they can't do it anymore, they assume, well, if they can do it, then the coach can do it. Now the coach has no proof. They can just say they're good, and then you assume they're good. And you don't have critical thinking because you're delusional. That's what's happening. The big business of boot camps. They make so much money from boot camps, you have no idea. I mean, honestly, if I start like Mr. D, if I start filming infields, right? And stuff like that. I'm just saying. If I start thinking about start filming infields, the big business of infields, then perhaps, right? You want a hybrid opener course, am I right? Maybe that can virtue signal a little bit. You know, I could do that. I'm thinking about it if I have no choice. But I don't know if anyone's going to buy it. That's the thing. Because level 1 is level -1. Does that make sense? Level 2 is level 0. And then level 3 is level 1 now. Because of that, I don't know if anyone can even afford this stuff. But the ones who are filtered out for boot camps, they can all afford it. The big business of boot camps, bench hold camps. That's the truth. And that's the thing. You might think to yourself right now, as you're listening to this, well, right now, you don't have that much money for boot camps. But in reality, they don't care about you. They're only looking for the high ticket clients. I want to enlighten you guys in case you're thinking about boot camp. For some of you that are here, or maybe all of the 100-something people that watch this video in the future, I can get you laid without a boot camp. Most of my students that got laid are without a boot camp, which is a miracle because they do drills. When they rehearse it enough times, the skills go up, assuming they still have the memory. They still compress it without procrastinating, and they still adapt. So the tariff was really bad. Food cost goes up. But the truth is that you won't get laid. So when I say these 2 years, right, day game boot camps are a scam. I'm saying that my prediction is that the Iran war is going to go on for 2 years. You're like, what? John, you've always been making psychic predictions in the community section. I believe that this Iran war is going to last 2 years. So if you guys do not join me, because the level 1 became level -1, you're never going to approach. Because after that, right now it's 2026, right? 2 years from now, it's 2028. That is the year that China, because they're squeezed from this Strait of Hormuz, they're going to actually come after like Taiwan. As you saw in the new meeting, I'm making a prediction. They're going to come after Taiwan, and Russia is going to join them. The United States will fight them. When Trump went to China, the president of China says that they are definitely going to attack Iran no matter what. Not me attack like Taiwan no matter what. It is a done deal. Does that make sense? They're going to do it no matter what. They cannot stop them. But because of that, does that make sense? The election is going to be 2028 because there's a world war. They're going to postpone the election in 2030. That's my prediction. Donald Trump will have a third term for 2 years. Then they have the election. The next president is going to be Republican. He's going to be a Latino. Latino president. That comes out of nowhere. That's my prediction. But Republican. So the United States are going to do very well. Maybe I should move there. You know, maybe I should move there. But if that's the case, right, then you're thinking maybe if you wait a little bit and you don't join my coaching, you look at me with a MGTOW sort of like, oh, sort of like depressed sigh. For the next 4 years, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be rough. You're gonna quit approaching, and that's it. That's your story. It's the end of it. You're never gonna approach again. It's game over. So if you think you can cheap it out now is the best time because the price is not as expensive. Inflation will go up. So it is good to, of course, stock up on food and stuff, like beans and rice and stuff. But at the same time, at some point, what point are you going to invest in yourself? When are you going to act like I get it. Level 2 became level 0. That's what you're feeling. You thought you could afford elite bundle resurrections? Nope. You're right into paycheck to paycheck. You're survival mode. Level 0 becomes level 1 becomes -1. So it's about collecting money without giving any results now to the sheeps. They're so brainwashed that it is their minds are so brainwashed because there's nobody challenging global game platform scamming network. Tall self-proclaimed high leg count guy is not here calling out that they're scammers. If I do it, my YouTube does not have a huge reach. My website barely even shows up on Google now. Does that make sense? So I know what you're probably thinking, right? You're thinking this mentor worship mentality of other coaches. If they can do it, you can do it. But are they really doing it? They're just standing next to women and they have a DSLR camera. How about I ask you some questions to open up your mind? If the coach is standing next to a woman, right? Why do you assume that she is his fuck buddy? Why do they have a DSLR camera in the background? Why are they taking super crystal clear pics? I want you guys to think. Why would a woman want to lower her status standing next to a dating coach just so unless the coach has a higher status, like maybe he's a tall white guy, or maybe he has a throw a money status advantage. But why would any woman in their right mind want to stand next to a coach and lower down their status and be outed for being approached? It won't happen unless the status is higher. That means you're being manipulated by the image and you're assuming because of delusions and lack of critical thinking. That's what's happening. So you assume they must be good, right? And you're like, well, if he's standing next to women, then he must have laid testimonials. You go over to their website, you look at their testimonials, and then you see a page full of like reviews, but none of them got laid. They say, I learned about my sticking points. Oh, I got my first date. That's it, right? But you don't care because you just look at the numbers that they fool you, like with ABCs and these fake reviews that they pay every single, I'm not saying every single one, but a lot of them have gotten a free digital course just by writing a positive review. Is that ethically legal? I don't know. That is fraud. Like I said, I have 2 people that can confirm it. But I digress. But you assume they must have laid testimonials when they only have like reviews that they learn a lot. They got comforted in a boot camp like a sheep. They got comforted. You know, I get my student results. And I had like a bad student before, that fucking Kaizen guy, the half Latino guy. He didn't even do any of the work. It took him so long just to pay for Kaizen. And then he just fucking smear campaigns me. Fucking asshole. He's going to get sued. He's going to get sued very soon. I know he's not watching my YouTube, but just to let him know that when I fucking sue you, right, for ruining my business, is not as strong this year. And of course, it might not be related to him. It might be just the economy. Level 1 becomes -1. Level 2 becomes 0. Maybe it's nothing to do with him, but it could be. Who knows? Maybe they can dissuade new people. But they're going to global game platform scammer network. So in reality, you are too ADHD to see that. They're just positive reviews, not results. And you assume that as they brainwash you into boot camps, because you have to famous the goose, you make sure they don't get any results. And then they're going to blame themselves because they're worshiping you as a coach. They'll worship, and they think if the coach can get results, then they can get results. Then they'll go to a boot camp. They'll wonder something's wrong with them, but in reality. But the smear campaigner will say, I'm blaming the coach, but Kaizen program, you motherfucker, right? You lazy fuck, has 100% success rate for everyone that finished it. You can't blame the coach. You're a bad student. You're a bad student. You're an asshole. You're a bad student. You should not blame somebody else. The program is perfect. Like, you didn't even show up. You kept running away from approaching. You're like cluster C. You just won't fucking approach. And you won't even do the homework. You won't even do the mindset playlist. Takes a month to do the mindset playlist. That's like severe ADHD. What the fuck? And then it's like fucking smear campaign me. That's like fucking malignant narcissist. That's what all the articles say. The most dangerous type of narcissist, cluster B, in my opinion, according to articles. But I'm going to show you a great way you can wake up and realize, well, how come this, when I was posting like all these late testimonials, I posted 8 of them in a row this year. Like 8 of them. I'm not joking. And nobody bought anything. You think I'm bullshitting? I'm not. I literally posted 8 of them. Let me see if I can. The video section. Okay. All right, right here. There's 8 video testimonials right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I posted 10 video testimonials and not a single person bought. You see that? Then I made a bunch of videos talking about worshipping boot camps. The whole series of old videos with B-roll in it. I couldn't get through to them. People are brainwashed. They're completely brainwashed now. They can't even put one foot in front of another. That's how things are like right now. So they have no late testimonials. I'm posting them. And then I posted on the webinar video, I posted 15 brand new ones. I have to move some of these upwards because they have 18 plus. Because I have 18 plus, I cannot post a video on my blog. So I have to repost them and change it and cover all the lay pics and stuff, not just mosaic. But people don't care because level 1 is level -1. Level 2 is level 0. So I have to ask yourself a question. How long are you going to wait before you join? Are you always going to make excuses? Is this going to make you happy? What if the Iran war went on for 2 months, even though they're trying to stop it now? But what if it goes on for 2 months? My next prediction is Donald Trump is going to attack Iran really hard. They're going to attack the infrastructure. That's what's going to happen next. That's the next move. My predictions always come true. The cluster B people are like, oh, no, Joe's making psychic predictions. Cluster B, right? These guys with no religion, they're woke, they're crashing out. They're cluster B, and the guy's voice sounds like the Joker when he talks. He talks like, hey, I'm giving advice on high ticket sales. I talk like the Joker. It's like, well, if you have that much cortisol in your voice, then blame yourself. You're a bad student. You have too much cortisol. Your hair is receding in the corners, right? Fuck you, right? Fucking smear campaign me, you fucking asshole. Anyways, I was saying, there are no late testimonials. How is that okay? This is the first year where I'm posting late testimonials. I posted 3 of the Indian testimonials. Any new students? Nope. Just him getting mental trauma cure. Why should I suffer because of your incompetence? If you're a loser, why are you forcing me to be a loser? I'm a winner. I'll get the students late. So whoever is joining me now, I want people that are capable, not people that are drowning in cortisol. Is that too much to ask for? But the other people that are completely out of this realm, because they don't like the way I talk, level 3, because I'm not like ABCs, I'm talking to people like this, and I'm like, hey, check this out, right? I don't want to offend you, but for Asians, they have to like make $200,000 more just to be able to match a white guy. So it's really unfair. Let me try to wind you up. I'm going to speak to you like you're dumb children. You're stupid. And then I'll talk very nice so I don't offend your massive ego, because the people with the biggest massive egos and with Asperger's, they make the most amount of money. So they fill the boot camps. That's like ABCs. They fill the boot camps. They wound you up. The ones who, almost all of the students that take boot camps are either like entrepreneurs or they are software engineers. Almost all of them. The rest of the people can't afford it, so they just take their courses and get no results. That's what's happening. So, hey, check out this watch. Very cool. This one's a Rolex Yacht Master 2. I like this one. Most people hate this watch. I really like it a lot. Anyways, as I was saying, they have so very few for the last few years. It's getting harder, but they're filling boot camps. Does that make any fucking sense? So the first exposed secret is that Daygame boot camps are big businesses. High ticket items that is expensive treatments, not the cure. Unlike my Daygame coaching, which is the cure, the big idea here is that just like everything else, right? For the medical field, like I said earlier, the cure means less profits. If I can get a student laid and they don't need me anymore, like Marco, right? After all these years and he's getting better at Daygame and he got a girlfriend now and he doesn't need me, that's fine. You know, that's the cure. Sometimes they come back because they want to do the drills again and get the results faster. But I'd rather like they just get the results and move on. Does that make sense? But they have to do the drills first. But this is the cure because I'm turning you into a natural. That's all I'm doing. I'm basically taking the drills. You're like, well, why the fuck do I do drills, John? It's stupid. Fuck the drills, right? I hate drills. It's because the drills equals skills. Naturals have good body language. I'm just drilling down. I'm just turning you into a natural. I'm just automating it. Does that make sense? I'm just automatically turning you into a natural. Nothing special. I'm just turning you into a natural. Like, what's wrong with that? I'm just making you good. Right? So this is the cure. It doesn't take a long time. It just requires focus. But whenever you have bad students, what they do is they love to procrastinate. There's severe ADHD. When they have severe ADHD, they're cluster B, personality disorder. Does that make sense? It's usually the cluster B, the ones who crashes out, the ones who are emotional and they get pissed off easily. Those are the ones that are irrational and they're woke. They're far left in thinking. They're anti-religion. These type of people are the most severe ADHD. And they also have alexithymia, emotional blindness. Most of these people, they don't feel much emotions. They just crash out all day and they only have butthurt feelings. And these people, that's the truth. But then again, the other Daygame coaches are teaching expensive treatments. The bigger the treatment, the bigger the profit. They first fool the sheeps with optics, standing next to women, as I said, paying for models to stand next to them, or when they're explaining concepts. And you will assume because they are good in your mind, they're not good. There's like, well, but he's white, he has halo effect, he must be good. It's like, do you have any proof? Can you show me proof that he's good? No, but he's good. It's like, well, where's your proof? No, but he's white, he's good. He seems good. It's like, have you seen a lay picture? Have you seen him approaching? Have you seen him? No, I haven't, but he's good. It's like, well, what the fuck? What kind of mentality is this? But he's good. He must be. Well, what kind of mentality? It's like walking into a house without investigating and say, it must be a good house. Let's just buy it. Let's not look at the plumbing. Let's not look at all of the foundational issues. We must be good. And then you look at me, it's like a 5'7" Chinese guy who's has a little bit of cortisol effect. I'm not as skinny as the last video. I ate a lot of food. And then just like, well, whatever. We don't want to listen to him because he doesn't have the relative SMV. They have a female nature in thinking. They think relative SMV, emotional reasoning, and logic last in a bad economy. They just double down on the female nature. That's the problem. So, let's see here. I just want to make sure that, I have enough views here. One person is watching. Thank you for whoever is still here. Seriously. All right. Let me see if I can on WhatsApp. Here's the truth, right? You could assume that they are good because you already had a 4 out of 10 looking woman, right? In the past. So you think that women are from Daygame. And this is important because this is a procreation switch. You're like, well, what's a procreation switch, John? Well, there are two of them. One of them is that when you see my students getting laid, right? You saw Marco here getting laid, and he was previously trained by me. So good for him. He has enough skills now. Maybe he doesn't need my coaching anymore. He's finally there. He's arrived. But as I was saying, the procreation switch is that when you see a white coach standing next to women on a Facebook and then have a DSLR camera, the procreation switch is related to sex and procreation. So if they stand next to women, that signifies to your subconscious brain procreation. And then you shut off your brain, you listen to all the brainwashing. So the faster they can turn you into a sheep, the faster they can turn off your brain, the faster they can dump it with garbage. Then you'll start to take a boot camp afterwards because you're going to fail with the garbage. That's what's going to happen. So. Okay, there's nobody here, but I'm going to keep talking. I don't care. I have a message to deliver. I'm going to deliver it. That's right. Like Domino's, right? I'm going to deliver it 30 minutes or less. All right, let's continue. So that's the procreation switch. Most guys, like most women, would not stand next to a coach unless it raises their status. If the coach is white for his status points, then a woman might stand next to him if she's less attractive. Or if the day game coach has less SMV, but women are getting more attractive, then he paid for her if he doesn't have status. Because it's worth it to them. If they're sociopaths like that, they have a win at all cost mentality, hiring models equals filling boot camps, they're going to fucking do it. They don't feel guilt. They're cluster B. They're far left. They don't give a shit. And if it fools their audience, brainwashing them to boot camps, level 1 would spend $5 to $400 and no more. Level 2 in the past would spend $1,000, no more. Level 3 would spend $2K to $50K for day game coaching or dating coach coaching, but no more. However, with the tariff in Iran war, level 1, right, which can afford $5 to $400, is now -1, not 0, -1. Now they have 4-figure, 5-figure debt. Level 2, who could afford $1,000, now have jumped back 2 spots. Now they're at level 0. They're broke. They're paycheck to paycheck. So why would they want like cheaper day game coaching? Unless they're engineers, software engineers, then they can afford the bench camps, level 3 types. Level 3 now, the ones who can afford like a couple $1,000s are level 1. They jump back 2 spots. So that's why Elite 30 should be the first thing they should be taking. That's what you guys should be taking if you cannot afford it. Just pay for 1/3 of Elite Bundle Resurrections. And then you can see if you can actually make 5 approaches from day 1 and day 5. If you can't do it, then you know that you're a cortisol zombie who's rotting away. If you can do it, then you continue to 2 of Elite Bundle Resurrections, 2 or 3, but there's going to be a new test. So that's the thing. Level 2 later on, right? Get there later on and pay off the rest. But this is a theory, but it explains why global game platform scammer network like ABCs and UMP, and they're filling up boot camps like crazy, probably. Because these are not normal day gamers like my audience. These are all level 3 people that have a lot of money. You just try not to offend them because they're already hurt. That's what RSD does. RSD will lie to you. They're the most vicious. They say you are enough. Race don't matter. Height don't matter. You are enough. Mass approach. They tell you what you want to hear. And then the engineers who are kind of lazy thinks that a boot camp in a couple of days is faster than whatever. My student still took some time before he got the skills down to get 3 lays for the Indian guy. It still took some time. It didn't happen overnight, but he kept going at it. He didn't give up. And then now it is popping off the results. So if that's the case, then that's entirely why it makes sense now. It's all about worshipping a cult of halo effect. They're like sheeps in mini cults. They're almost like women. They think like women. They think of the coach as relative SMV. The emotional reasoning is second, and logic is last. When I deal with the logical side with a bad economy, people's brains already turn upside down. So when the economy gets worse, people resort to more delusions. More delusions means it's easier to brainwash you. I'm not brainwashing you. My goal is to wake you up. That's why I post the video testimonials. But when people don't care anymore, level 2 has become level 1. Level 1 became level -1. Level 3 became level 1 in terms of what they can afford. So next time when you look at my coaching from level 1 and level 2 point of view, maybe ask yourself, have you turned -1 or level 0 in MGTOW? And is it really your choice? Or is the economy dictating your choice? Have you ever thought of that? But I'm appealing to your logic. I should be trying to emotionally manipulate you. If I were to emotionally manipulate you, I'll just tell you the truth. This Iran war last 2 years, food prices are going to continue to go up. If you don't approach now while you still can afford it, you're never going to approach again for next like 4 years. Because Donald Trump is going to be president longer because China's going to attack Taiwan. They cannot have elections. And he's going to stay for 2 more years. And then guess what happens? You're going to have no money. You're going to have no money. Then you just give up. You turn super MGTOW. Imagine living that kind of existence. Isn't that awful? You're always going to give up, make excuses. Oh, the economy is not good. Then it keeps getting worse. It's not going to have a recession. I don't see that in my predictions. But the economy is going to get worse and worse. So is that choosing your lower self gear? So why not invest in yourself, the higher self gear? So what's higher self and lower self? The higher self is that I invest in myself. For example, this thing was very expensive, okay? But I got a discount because I'm one of the first ones to buy it. This is an $800 unit. But my higher self says that if I use it every single day and I don't have to pay for ashwagandha anymore or alpha GPC or any supplements to focus, it's going to pay for itself. If it keeps me from getting double chinned, fork over to $800, right? That's like level 2 almost. When I feel like level 1, I feel cheap. I feel sewer rat cheap. You know what I do? I buy a bunch of Kindle books. I'm reading this really cool book about a Navy SEAL. It's actually David Goggins, right? And I learned a lot from that book. The book is called Living with a SEAL, 31 Days of Training with the Toughest Man on Earth. Okay, but I think this book is about David Goggins. This guy hired David Goggins or something to train him. And you learn a lot from books. The book only cost me like $10, but I learned so much from it. You can now with Kindle, you can learn new things. You can press play, it'll play it. See that? Wait, hold on.
Do a day. It's been less than 8 hours since I did my 484 push-ups. 5 hours since I fell asleep. When I get up, Seal is already up. I mean, wide awake up. He tells me he has been outside surveying our running route, checking the terrain, feeling it out. The terrain. It's not a regular day in Central Park, he says. No, nobody's smiling. There are only a few stragglers out running. One guy is walking a dog. Saw one delivery guy. Okay, nah, man, it's not okay, he says. Only the loonies are out there today, bro. Only the demented. It's Sick Fuck Friday. I'm not sure what he means. I walk out the front door, Seal limps. We set out to run 5 miles at an 8-minute pace, but Seal wants to run to Mosley Hills. He settles on running the small back part of Central Park by 110th Street. So we run uptown, and when we get there, we do the small loop of the 110th Street hill. The hill is only about a quarter of a mile up, but it's steep. To hold an 8-minute pace is very challenging. As we ascend, my shoulders kill from the 484 push-ups yesterday. I mean, they are killing me.
Is that cool? I'm learning stuff. Like I'm figuring out how is he training other people. Man, that guy has to do so much fucking running and push-ups every single day. It's crazy. That's when he's trained by that Navy SEAL guy, David Goggins. You gotta invest in yourself. Even if that was not very expensive, I like to pay for small stuff. I don't want to waste my money. Does that make sense? I don't want to just throw it down the trash. But I want to invest in myself. Even if I act a little bit sewer rat, I will still try to invest in courses. I have another course talking about schema therapy. Maybe I can add it to my mental trauma cure. I bought not just one course, I bought 3 courses. Do you understand that? I'm always, every single dollar I make, I'm always trying to offload 20% of it to invest in myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to invest in another online course, a group coaching, very soon. It's not very expensive, but I like to invest in myself. When you guys don't do that, right? It's really bad. So, are you thinking with the higher self or the lower self gear? I always try to switch to the higher self. So now you'd have to prove you can do day 1 to 5 for the infields for Elite 30. If you want to take Elite Access next, you have to send it to me on a Google Drive. They have to be distinctively different from day 1 to day 5. I was going to make 7 days, but most people won't do it. I want to see if you're actually a talker or a doer. If you're a talker, then you just end with Elite 30. You can get your dates and everything that way. You can pull women home. But if you want to go further and speed up the process, that's the thing. You got to film the infields. And if you don't have cluster C personality disorder, avoidant personality, it's either that or go back to infields again, right? But I'd rather focus on being the Phil Jackson of teaching Daygame, the best basketball coach of Michael Jordan and Kobe, instead of being Michael Jordan and Kobe. The coaches these days have less value to delusional worshippers. Does that make sense? I mean, you look at my student, and he got laid like fucking 3 times already. He invested. He's acting like a level 3. He's not acting like a level 1. So, for example, if we look at the videos, you can hear it.
Got my third lead on 14th May 2026 from day. Then I let her do an Insta day and had tea with her for like 30 to 45 minutes. And then finally let her do my place and got laid. It was a same day lay from Daygame. It was my second approach of the day. John always says that you can get laid with 1 to 6 approaches same day.
Can you guys hear this?
The skills. And I have watched this global network pickup debates, but now they all seem like mental masturbation. The things which doesn't actually work in the field. But John's method, it's like really to the point. What all the naturals do. That's why even if they seem counterintuitive, they just work beautifully in the field. Hey guys, I had been training under John Elite.
Okay, so basically, yeah, that gives you some idea. So he already got 3 lays. He invested in himself. He's level 3. He started with being level 1, paying for Elite 30, then Elite Access, then Elite Tonality Mastery. Then later on, he's getting Mental Trauma Cure after he got the Inner Circle. Does that make sense? So technically speaking, he's level 3. Level 3 people are the only ones left that can afford Daygame coaching. There is no level 1 and level 2 anymore. Does that make sense? Ask any questions you want. I'll be fine, right? So the second exposed industry secret is Daygame bootcamps are not a shortcut if it no longer works for global game platform scammers. Oh, but they're popular coaches, John. They're popular. What the fuck does that mean? Are they getting people laid? No. Then what does it matter? Then are you a sheep? Right? Cluster B sheep? Worshipping? That's why I made so many videos in the video section calling out the worship. And that's the thing. They don't get people laid anymore. Now they just double down on optics. So the main thing to understand is that they all teach expensive boot camps. They're teaching so many boot camps in the summer, only level 3 people that can afford more than a couple of $1,000s. And their sheep audience are often severe ADHD engineers who can afford boot camps. They think it's a shortcut, but they don't get late for day game. They get late for night game or some Tinder shit in the Latin country, and they're still happy. What the fuck? Or 7-day boot camps are now 3 days because engineers, right, that's taken over their jobs. So all the poor people, level 1, level 2, can no longer afford my coaching because level 1 became level -1. Level 2, who can afford 1,000, now becomes level 0, living paycheck to paycheck. So they can't afford like longer boot camps. Then they can't get people laid by that. So they try to talk about topics that distract you from their lack of late testimonials. They might bring up stuff like, oh, Indians have it harder, Indian hate bullshit. Or they might start talking about some other bullshit. Or they might just stand next to women. And I have plenty of like students laid last year. And less students this year, not because I can't get them laid. It's more like this year I'm having less students. Is it the smear campaign? Is that why they're having level 3? Who knows? but the level 1, level 2 has mentally checked out. And the rest of them are throwing money away and flushing down the toilet with worshiping optics and being severe ADHD, thinking about short boot camps that will save you, but it won't. That means it doesn't matter if they're only doing 3-day boot camps or less. They often just need 10 days to get you laid, but people can't afford it. AI's taken over the jobs of the software engineers. Now they're only into brainwashing your emotions. Oh, Indian hate, right? But my students get Indian love. There's no such thing. If you're dressed whitewash, you're in their tribe. Then they show no student proof and flays anymore. They only show stuff like from many, many years ago, before the pandemic. That's what they show you. But that was enough to get you manipulated, which is kind of funny. So, unbelievable.
I've got my third way on fire. Recovery rates. Complex fire. Also check out the joint switching. And you just work in this day and age. I should work. Maybe only for it as you really person. You can check out it. Also check. That's all I have to say, guys. Thank you.
Okay, this is like the last one, right? The second layer. I'm just gonna play the beginning part. Hopefully you can hear it. If you can't hear it, I can translate it. He says he got his second lay on the May 11th, 2026. Daygame. Exactly 1 month after his first lay. He says that he used the arrow of science to bring this girl back to this place or something like that. I couldn't hear everything perfectly. He says he got a hand job at first because she doesn't have sex in the first 24 hours. Yeah, so basically what he said over there, it's hard to hear because it doesn't go into the microphone somehow with that voice. But then afterwards, he got on a date afterwards, and then he got laid right away. He just sends her straight to his place. That's what I told him to do. I said, don't go on another date. Just go right to your place. And yeah, he got a hand job at first. Then next time he got laid. So anyways, the third exposed industry secret is that I teach students for a year with Elite Bundle Resurrections. 1 year. You get better value, and I got more Daygame lay testimonials than every global game platform scammer lay testimonials combined. It costs only a fraction of their boot camps. My training is like $1,000 or less. And if you want to pay for the first piece, it's $400 times 3. But there's a discount right now, a sale for a short time in the summer. It's $350 for Elite 30 right now. So you should take advantage of the price while you still can. And Elite Bundle Resurrections is $1,000, but now I think it's $950 or something temporarily. But I see as a cure, which can be taught online. If you can drill down the skills, right, then you don't need to just go out there, because it's memory compression, drills, and rehearsals that turns you into a natural. You might be thinking like, you don't have to go direct and mass approach anymore, being unnatural. Don't you want that? If you drill the skills down, you're like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work, John. No, it's not. It's actually fun. When you turn into a natural by automating it for 30 days, oh, I don't want to. No. What's easier? You spend 30 days just showing up until your skills show up, and you do like 15-minute drills, 10-minute drills? Or is it easier to spend like 4 months in a row mass approaching, half-assing it with mystery method tactics, which is unnatural, and RSD mass approaching, and getting completely demolished in 2026? Which one's easier? Oh, but half-assing is easier. I am enough. Well, you got money problems, so it affects your voice. How are you enough? What's easier? 30 days of this or 4 months of the other one and getting no results? Think about it. In the past, maybe 3 years ago, you do like a bunch of approaches for like 4 months. You might get a pull or maybe a lay if you have some high SMV. But for everybody else, they may not get any results, but You might get something. You made like hundreds of approaches. You probably make over like 100 per month. Every single time you go out, you do like a big amount, like 40, 50 approaches. And guess what happens? But now in 2026, with a bad economy, you do the same thing, it doesn't work. So what would you rather do? Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's more work, but it's not more work. It's just more uncomfortable because you're not used to learning new things. It's like imagine going to an MMA gym, right? Or MMA fights. When you mass approach out there, it's like you have no skills. You walk in the ring, the woman submits you or knocks you out every single time. You get rejected by her over and over. You go in again, you're like, I'm going to win this time. She fucking arm bars you. Next time, rear naked choke. Why is this happening? You do this for hundreds of times where she just keeps knocking you out, one after another. And then you're like, what the fuck? After 4 months, nothing happens. But if you learn from my one for 30 days in the gym, the dojo, to become a natural, it may be uncomfortable at first, but you do what's hard now, life becomes easy. Instead of doing what's easy now, which is mass approaching and getting your jaw knocked off, and then life becomes hard later on. Do what's easy now, and do what's hard now, and life becomes easy. Like my Indian student, you do what's easy now, life becomes fucking hard in 2026. That's the truth. You should not just mass approach. Doesn't work. That's the truth. You need memory, compression, and drills. Once you're natural, you'll naturally get laid. If you're unnatural, mass approaching without any skills, like in MMA, you just get knocked out. It's not that hard to be unnatural. You only have to learn a couple of skills, just over and over. It's that simple. It's just uncomfortable because you never done it before. All my students do that. That's how they're able to get the results. So that's the thing. I don't have to stand next to you in a boot camp because the drills equals skills. I can teach you on WhatsApp. There's no numbers game. This is key because drills equals skills. Skills equals value. Value equals 20 out of 35. Looks is out of 10. Money is out of 5. Status is out of 10. Social skills, flow drill is 2.5 points. Social calibrations, 45-degree body language is 2.5 points. Emotional control, whitewash tonality is 2.5 points. Game is 2.5 points. But a bad economy can affect your emotions and put it into the minus. Plus, you can't level up skills without drills like my coaching, the cure. I don't care about the treatment. They have the expensive treatment. Here's the cure. The cure, 1 ounce of a cure is worth 10 pounds of the treatment or something like that. 1 ounce of prevention is worth 10 times the cure. I don't know, something like that. But I know what you're thinking, right? Oh, it's all about these popular game global game platform scammer network. They're running short boot camps now. But since boot camps make you they make them the most money compared to Daygame courses, which for them it never works, so they go to boot camps. Doesn't it get you stuck thinking you need a boot camp because you're worshiping the coach? For these global game platform scammer network, you might think they're white, so they must be good. But in reality, are they the same as the naturals who have perfect social skills? Or are they just a cluster B, dark triad, sociopath, narcissist, Machiavelli manipulator? Ask yourself that. Are you mistaking them because you have a lack of social intelligence? You can't see their mistakes. Does that make sense? Don't they make a few $1,000s per head and they're fooling people into this cult, this treatment that goes nowhere? And some boot camps, aren't they like $3,000 to $6,000 to $10,000? Yet my training, the cure, isn't it less? It's like 1,000 or less, or $400 times 3. Look, I want more lay testimonials, but the tricky thing is that you cannot be a sheep. Are you being a sheep worshiping optics of them standing next to women or paid models that has a perfect DSLR photo shoot? Or they're just getting phone number closed videos. You don't know what happens after the phone number close. How do you know that they actually got a date afterwards or they got laid? How do you know that? Think for a second. I'm asking you some questions. Give it a thumbs up if it's making you think. How do you know? You don't know because you don't see it, because they have no proof. Because they have no proof. Aren't you fool? And isn't it the more popular they are, the more subscribers they have, the more Machiavellian manipulator they are for a dark triad. Isn't that true? Isn't that sheep's like boot camps to the slaughter, where the courses don't work for the digital courses, and then afterwards you go to their boot camps because you blame yourself because isn't it because you think that they can do it, so you can do it when they're just using optics? Think for a second. Think that's the hardest part is to think, because once they shut off your brain with optics, then you no longer think. Hey, John, what's the definition of someone who is a natural? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so I know many naturals because yeah, I know many naturals. I've been taught by over 12 naturals. Mr. D knows, right? He knows one of them. We cannot say who he is. I think Mr. D might have met my Pakistani mentor. Like, are you still there, Mr. D? But you can't give any details about him. But I think he's seen them before. He's a real person, but he's a natural. So naturals will have 3 skills. By default, they're born with it. So we already know looks, right? Is out of 10. Money out of 5. Status is out of 10, right? Looks, money, status. Am I right, Mr. Kim Jong-un? Right? The Indian guy. That's you. But we all know looks, money, status, right? Am I correct? Yes, yes. Okay. But imagine social skills, the flow drill, right? They actually have it. They're born with it. And they sharpen it. I know it sounds crazy, but if naturals are always talking to both men and women, right? Socializing, why are they doing that? Isn't it they're secretly sharpening up their social skills so they can use it for women afterwards? Isn't that what they're doing? But what if we can teach the same social skills flow drill as the naturals? Won't that also raise your points like them to automate it? The second one is body language. All naturals, they stand very tall. They're very relaxed. Their face is very relaxed. And then they're loose. They're almost like elastic bands hanging over the skeleton. The chest is out. Everything is like tall, but they're also confident. Does that make sense? They're born like that. I don't know who taught them that, but they all have the same body language. And some of them stand 45 degrees like I do. So that's why I include in the system. But if that were the case, then wouldn't it make sense to have a natural like body language? My Pakistani mentor, he doesn't square off when I rehearse with him. He's actually standing like a little bit off angle. I was like, why are you doing that? He doesn't know. But wouldn't it be an advantage to not put pressure on her? And also for next category, emotional control. A natural have a good emotional impact, but they're also very chilled because of the body language. Does that make sense? Because their body is so chilled, their mind is chilled. And the women gets disarmed. Don't women get disarmed when they're very chilled? But they don't have perfect game. All the naturals have a different game. But because they're born with all these things, their looks, money, status. If you look at the points, 2.5 points. The naturals have good social skills. They can unlock the 2.5. They can go unlimited. So, for example, they could have like a 6 out of 10 for social skills because they're not zombies. They're not the same type as the far left, cluster B, sociopath, narcissist, histrionic, show-off, borderline type. You know, the far left type. They're not like that. Like smear campaigners, those kind of people. They're more like far right. They're logical. They're psychopathic. They make millions of dollars, but they understand what women are feeling. They are socialized with everybody, and they have perfect tonality. They all have a different style of game. Does that make sense? But because there's 7.5 points, right? 2.5 points for social skills, social calibration is emotional control because it's so high. And their social skills can go beyond 2.5. This is the engine that powers most of their lays. That's why it's to be more natural. Does that make sense? If you're more natural and you can automate the same skills that the naturals have, the 7.5 points, won't you get laid more? Then doesn't that disqualify game? If they means like more skills in these 3 areas, doesn't it mean less game? Why would naturals who have perfect social skills that have existed for thousands of years, why would they possibly use creepy game tactics to go direct? Does anybody ever go direct like 1,000 years ago in the saloon? Of course not. They'll just talk and then they'll eventually get to know each other and then they'll eventually kiss hold hands and have sex, and then they eventually get married. That's how your ancestors survived. Did they go direct saying, "Oh, I thought you're cute. I want to come by and say hi"? Mass approaching? No, they didn't. They had social skills before the pandemic. Does that make sense? So these guys are born with these three attributes. It doesn't matter what they have for the other ones. They're over the line. It makes it easier because they're born. They don't have to take my Kaizen program. They're born to take Kaizen. They're almost like they took it 10 times. Nobody taught them. But even a natural who's a Pakistani guy, he's like a shorter guy, 5'4". He says, "John, my game and your game is almost the same, but I never like learned any PUA theory. You have to figure this out." He was born like that. And every single time he has a line, he actually sees it in front of him like a ghost giving him a piece of paper over and over. He just reads whatever is in his mind. He's like a savant. That, a 5'4", but hueless, 5'7". Like lots of lays, but over 400 or 500. So that's natural. But I'm just teaching you the skills to be a natural. And the boot camps are making you unnatural for everyone else. So could you be a natural at one point in your life in some kind of circumstances, but not in others? Maybe lose it and be a club promoter? No, I mean all the naturals that are like in the dating coach industry, none of them are real naturals. None of them are real naturals. It's not like they learn to be a natural or something like that. Real naturals are born like that. They just do it. Nobody teaches them how to do it. They just automatically have all these skills. Those people self-develop and stuff, but they're still creepy and zombie-like. Does that make sense? The day game coaches are very unnatural. They're just creepy. They call it natural. It doesn't mean unnatural. Just because you stick a feather up your asshole does not make you a chicken. Does that make sense? The same thing. Just because they claim one thing doesn't mean it's another. That's the truth. And most naturals, here's the secret, okay? Outside of that 5'4" guy who's 5'7" with heel lifts, most naturals are above 5'9" for some reason. So for the looks, whatever, even if they get older and stuff, they still get good results. They're always above 5'9", national average. I don't know why that is. I've learned from so many naturals. They exactly 5'9". I'm not saying it's heightism, but it does help. My Pakistani mentor is like 5'10.5". They're not short. They're not short. Other naturals that I've never met in the crew, like got over 1,000 lays from Daygame, maybe 1,200 now, but those guys are like 6'2" or something, or 6'4", white, good-looking guys that have like a 10 out of 10 looks. They're so confident, but at the same time, it's still like genetic advantages. But there are people like that. There's also another natural that I never met, but he only goes after Asian girls. Even though he got his 1,000 lays and he's a good-looking tall guy, he kind of cheats the process a little bit. He has higher SMV than her. So whatever. I mean, of course, don't you think it's easier if you're a tall Caucasian guy to get an Asian woman? I'm nothing against that. I'm just saying the truth. That's why I get my Asian students to get laid. And even if I have white students, they still get laid. You see so many white students of mine get laid. So I don't discriminate against anybody. You're all welcome to join me. I've gotten every ethnicity laid. But does that make sense now? Does it all finally make sense? So I'm making you think. So Elite Bundle Resurrections, you can get trained by me for a year if you have some day game experience and you got laid before, assuming you're in debt or financially stable and not affected much by cortisol stress. You don't need expensive boot camp anymore. You can drill it down. Or maybe should I take down Elite Bundle Resurrections and only teach like 3 MP? Should I only teach like 3 MP from now on? And just not teach Elite Bundle Resurrections? Because I was trying to help the poorer people. But the poorer people are not investing because level 1 who can afford $5 to 400 is now -1, $17,000 in debt. Level 2 who can afford $1,000 is now like at zero, paycheck to paycheck. They're MGTOW, they cannot afford it. Level 3 it becomes level 1. Does that make sense? Kim Jong-un, you're level 3. So you're in a more high ticket course for later on. You're saving up for it. But you can see what happens, right? A lot of people, right? Have you noticed, right? Even money became more tight. Your level 3 become level 1. So this theory checks out. Everyone has gone down 2 spots. That's why it looks like that. And other global game platform scamming networks are scamming the level 3 people that are engineers. Like, they can afford it. They're not affected by the economy. So, yeah, it makes a lot of. I'll have to make a lot of money soon. Yeah, so I do have some further predictions. I believe in your location, Nigel Farage is going to be the next prime minister. My prediction is that the current prime minister, World Economic Forum, is going to try to stay there. Like I told you before, he's going to stay a little bit longer until December. It's coming to me. The psychic vision is coming to me now, clear and clear. My prediction is December. That's why I feel like around there, December or January, you have a new election. They'll take away the digital ID, but the immigration problem is going to take a long time for Nigel, for over 4 years or something, to fix it. He's not going to be like ICE, like Trump, like ICE. He's going to do it slowly, and people are not going to be happy. But I think that's my prediction. But what a vicious place. The World Economic Forum are places like Canada, Australia, and London. France, all these places are the World Economic Forum, globalist places. But my prediction is that's what's going to happen. Watch and see what happens. I should document this in the community section, right? Even though the haters hate me. But I think December. Fair enough. As long as it doesn't stop me from day gaming. Yeah, but I just want to tell you what will happen. It will not stop you from day gaming. Like, there's no law against that. But, you know, you want prosperity or improvement, it'll come after that. Things will become very bad in London. So it'll be extremely, extremely bad. Stock market is going to crash a little bit. If you have money in stocks, it's not going to affect the United States. It's going to affect London badly. We're talking about like just crumbling. I just want to let you know what's ahead. You will have financial difficulties. So get ready for that. Yeah, make sure you save up, have some canned foods, have something, right? Just in case. That's what's coming to me. And of course, like I remember the smear campaigner, right? Sebastian, the half Latino guy who took Kaizen. Bad student, right? Blames the coach. In reality, he doesn't even fucking show up for coaching. Barely can afford the tuition. Took him like a long time, like 2 months. And it took him 1 month to finish the mindset playlist. Just a bad student. But what was my point? Oh shit, I forgot my point. Let's continue. So you learn how to boost your memory when you have new drills and then you're approaching right away. But wouldn't it make sense if I changed the 2026 algorithm where rather than doing like 7 or 8 drills before approaching out there, won't that make you more cluster C avoidant? Because if it takes you 7 times practicing back and forth, getting critique, and I say, okay, now it's time to go out there, won't you develop more of approach anxiety? Now these days, right? I'm deploying faster. There's only 1 or 2 drills and you're deployed out there. How are people supposed to do the drills if they don't have a fucking memory? So doesn't it make sense to have a video pinned on the top of WhatsApp that shows all their mistakes as an external brain? That's their new training. So I find out the mistakes so they can. Won't that be better just so they can actually write down all their mistakes and they say out loud to the camera and play it 20 times before they make an approach? Won't that make more sense? That it has to be adapted and now it's working? Before you can see how much people's memory, right? Wipe. Don't you get it? They get double chinned. They lose their hair. They lose their muscle mass and they also lose their memory. So it's no longer endless drills than approaching when you are avoidant. Since bad potential students, shouldn't I vet them out on my coaching for total losers? Is there a difference between a loser who loses occasionally versus a total loser that loses in every category of their life? They're almost like unhappy, unlucky. They're cursed. Wouldn't it be great to watch your video 20 times, like I said, and remember your mistakes? And for your homework, you go through every video for elite tonality mastery. Wouldn't it be good to go through it 6 times each? I had this guy with a double chin Indian guy. He took like a month to go through the 6 videos of elite tonality mastery. Won't someone like that, right? With the 4 traits of cortisol, double chinned, no muscle mass, which he has, receding hair, he does not have, but lack of memory, where he cannot remember a single thing. Won't people like that drown in cortisol? But isn't it going through 6 times each better to force it down your memory? Isn't it memory important? Compression by not procrastinating, and also that forces adaptation. Like I said, memory, compression, adaptation. And the thing is that wouldn't it be great if this program gives you memory back as the new protocols? Wouldn't that be great, guys? And if there are new protocols for 2026, doesn't it become your external brain? And if am I the world's best day game coach with 681 latent post testimonials, more than every other day game coach in the world combined? Is there any other day game coach in the world that has more than me, or even like more than the fucking like 50? They probably have like 35 at most. Mostly they have 3 because they only have like 3 for white dating coaches because they cannot get them laid during the boot camp except collect their money. If I have more than every global game platform scammer network combined, like ABCs, UMP, everybody, for day game coaching, and I did this without expensive boot camp, isn't this the cure? If I taught you online without the expensive boot camp treatments, bench camps, with this new variant of training for 2026, the new protocols, isn't that going to solve the problem? If you join, won't you do well if you don't have too much cortisol effects? I mean, wouldn't it be better to have some students that have a little bit SMV this year? They have something going for them rather than nothing? Isn't that better than bad students who never gotten a date before? Have you asked yourself, why have you never gotten a date before? You got number closes, but why can't you get a date? You can't even get Insta date. Why can't you get Insta date? What's wrong with you? Should you join my coaching and join Elite Bundle Resurrections and do no work and run away? Or should you start with Elite 30 first and prove that you can make the first 5 approaches and record it for me before you go to the second part? Like my Indian student. I mean, if you have a double chin, you're full of cortisol. How are you expected to not run away from the approaches with avoidant personality and approach anxiety? So I got all the steps for you when you do your drills, right? If everything's set up for you and you're not procrastinating and you have a memory and you can adapt, won't you get laid? Then does that mean that you don't need a fucking boot camp? I'm asking you to make you think. And here's the thing, you can't find me. If I'm smear campaign and then on Google you don't find me, isn't it better to click on the link that you see in the description right now and join? And also, isn't it a good idea that I'm putting Elite 30 on the Elite Bundle Resurrection sales letter? Just so in case you cannot afford it, you can just click on Elite 30 and start there and see if you can get your first 5 approaches. Isn't it better to filter you out? If you cannot do the first 5 approaches, should you ever take Elite Bundle Resurrections 2 of 5? I mean, 2 of 3, or 3 of 3, Elite Tonality Mastery, if you haven't qualified? Isn't this a better way of doing things? And that's the thing. And shouldn't I raise the price like I did? I just lowered it. Should I raise it back so people take it seriously? Or will level 2 that became level 0, level 1 become -1, and level 1 became like -1, yeah, where they're in debt. Level 2 become like broke, level 0, and level 3 became level 1. I mean, shouldn't you start with Elite 30 for everyone? And those without SMV whatsoever, who can't even get a date, shouldn't you start with Elite 30 instead? So I will see your photos. Wouldn't it be good to see if you have cortisol damage? If you come in here like being a narcissistic Indian with receding hair and a big belly, and then you keep trying to like troll me, should I even take you on? If you're a sheep that you need to worship first? Or shouldn't you take Elite 30 to prove that you can approach? Shouldn't you get lost if you can't even do the most basic? Isn't like how you do anything is how you do everything? And so if you want to find me, shouldn't you look in the bio of my website on top to find my website, and also in the description or even in the comments? It's all pinned there. That's what I'm saying. And is boot camp's worth it? Do you want to pay for like a $5,000 boot camp or $3,000 boot camp or $10,000 boot camp, or would you rather pay me $1,000 because that's a cure instead of the treatment, the boot camp treatment of other coaches, and still get laid faster? That's what I'm saying. These are questions I'm asking you. And here's the thing: if you took Elite 30, you cannot make the first 5 approaches. Isn't this fair? At least you know that you can't do it, and you save money that way. That's what I'm saying. But basically, that's all I have to say. Is there any final questions before I make something to eat? I haven't ate any dinner yet, so I'm glad there's more people here. Or is there? There's 2 people here, but thank you for the light so far. Every bit helps. Let's see how long I've been here. Go ask the final questions, okay? Type very quickly. I can only answer 3 more questions. And that's it. I hope that, but if somebody got like a value out of this, and then you didn't take a boot camp, right? Wouldn't it be worth it for me being here today? What's the meaning of life? That's a good question. Okay, here in my line of work, right? I asked Jesus, "What's the meaning of life?" And it relates to my job. The tree of life is the meaning of life. It grows. It's to reproduce. That's the meaning of life. It's to grow the tree of life for God. And then what Jesus said to me after that was that because of the wokeism, the tree of life has been like less now, is withering away. But I think what he meant by that is that places around Asia has lower birth rates. So that's going against the tree of life. In China and also South Korea, they're going to go extinct soon if the economy doesn't grow, the population doesn't grow. Same thing's happening with North America and Europe. What do you mean, like, but don't you follow Christian principles? Um, yeah, but at the same time, I follow Jesus. I'm psychic, so I know what they're thinking. Does that make sense? But I do think the tree of life is to grow it, and my coaching helps people to procreate. But when there's some smear campaigner came and attacked my business because he took Kaizen and he was a bad student, didn't even show up, he's taking away the tree of life. There's so many minorities that could get laid. If they get laid twice, they can procreate in the future. Over here for Daygame, you just need 2 lays, then they're taken care of. Look, they'll be fine. So my job is really not so much helping the Asian men; it is to help day gamers who are autistic to procreate. Otherwise, imagine that they're born with autism or Asperger's, and then all of a sudden, right, they die and they have like a life review. They start asking like, "What have you done for humanity? What have you done good?" But they're innocent. They died, but when they separate from their body, they're like an orb or something. They see everything. They don't have autism anymore, and they realize, "Oh shit! That body fucked them up. Their mind fucked them up. They lost their opportunity." Does that make sense? So that's the meaning of life: is to grow, is to expand the tree of life, make sure people procreate. And these days, with the pandemic, wokeism, the far left, money problems, people are stressed out. Cortisol is destroying the tree of life. And the wokeism is to create you as much stress as possible, irrationality, so they can come over and take away all your rights. And huge, you know, from what I see, I have nothing against immigrants, but they'll flood with immigrants, they'll take away more rights because they're future voters. My parents were immigrants, legal immigrants. So I have nothing against that. I'm a product of immigration or the next generation. So yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Grow the tree of life. Make sure that you can procreate. Don't just depend on Tinder or whatever. Make sure you have the skills to code approach, and still get 2 lays. Eventually, if you have that kind of skill during a time period like this, you can get married, no problem. Just approach more. But you have to get that handled first, the very basics, and you'll be fine. So that's a good answer. Do you have any more questions? I think if it's just 1 lay, it could be just a fluke, right? because sometimes you have to do the same things that got the first like. It's kind of like planting a seed, right? I said, you put more water into the seed, and it might take a while. It took 3 months for the other Indian student to get his first leg. So it sprouted. So you got to germinate. That means you got to practice the drills, but you have to water it and just like water it all the time until it grows. Does that make sense? What about text game? No, no, no. Text game for minorities part of 3MP is no longer sold like separately. 3MP is the bundle with all the digital courses and also all the online training. Kim Jong-un is part of that. He's financing it. But that is not being sold like right now for text game for minorities because you still need the body language and stuff of my Daygame program. So if you think a text game is going to save you, it's kind of like burning a DVD, okay? So imagine there's a disc, right? Okay. I can grab a DVD right now, but I don't want to. I dropped it on the floor. I don't want to contaminate my hands with OCD. But when women are talking to you, you have they burn the DVD, right? Every single second. It's not like after the conversation. But women, female nature, like I said, always relative SMV. So if you start hunching when she's burning the DVD, she'll flake on you. If you start talking fast and you start having lots of syllables due to cortisol, she will start flaking on you. Does that make sense? So the DVD is important because when you text her, she brings out the DVD from the pile. She looks at it and says no. But if you think about fixing text game, it's the interaction that helps. Text game for minority is mixed with the body language, the whitewash tonality, and the social skills flow drill. Does that make sense? That's what I secretly taught people, along with improving their social media. But that's not for everyone. You need to have the fundamentals these days. So how much do you charge to fix a social media presence? That's part of text game for minorities. So there's 3 packages. One of them is like 1,500. One of them is like 1,200, 1,000, or one is like 900 or something. There's like platinum. Well, I mean gold, silver, and bronze, but something like that. They have different pricing. I double check it. But that also helps you to fix the social media. But you have to be able to get those pictures. I'm pretty sure these days you can just use AI, right? You can create those kind of cool optics or something like that with instead of Instagram, because it costs money to get those photo shoots to get you in that location. But AI can do the same thing. So, but there's an algorithm that they use. There's a 6 algorithm. That's what they've been using for text game for minorities. And the Chinese student got so many lays afterwards. He started using on Tinder. He got so many fucking lays. And then afterwards, he got even more lays from Daygame. Some of them saw his Instagram. He used Instagram like that. Most people can't do it unless you have more money. But it has to be exactly 6 algorithms unless you're status maxing. Does that make sense? So if there's like a 10K laying around burning hole in my pocket, can you make me into you? Okay. If there were 10K, you should take the 3 months of proficiency bundle. I mean, 3MP bundle that has all the courses, including texting for minorities, mental trauma cure, and also elite bundle resurrections, all the other courses. Kaizen is part of it. Elite 60 is part of it. Every course, everything in the kitchen sink is only 5K, $5,000. That's half of what you're talking about burning a hole in your pocket. And it has to be day one. I'm not looking for someone to take the coaching and then whatever, and they don't pay for everything. I mean, I trust Kim Jong-un to do that, but other people, I've seen people that have like a lot of cortisol. They can't even manage their mind, and they don't even pay the whole thing. So I want somebody who can afford it all at once. Then you have enough to take it. Otherwise, your nervous system cannot take it. If you can't afford it and you're not financially stable, how can you focus enough to finish 3MP in all the courses? So it'd be compressed. It'd be like literally teaching you like an instructor level, basically. Everything. Taxing for minorities, body language, social skills flow drill, emotional control, everything. External emotional brain, everything. Mental trauma cure. Wouldn't it be great to clear your trauma? Everything. So I do have a couple of students for that, but it's only 5K, it's not 10K. I'm financially stable, just not good looking. How tall are you, by the way, in terms of height? If you're not good looking, how old are you, by the way? I don't care about looks. I can still, as long as you're not super short, I can still boost your height with elevator shoes. If you're not super good looking, I can teach you how to get a V-shaped body. You're 5'5". You might need elevator shoes. That might only make you 5'8". But 5'8" is below 5'9". You will struggle. What country are you living in right now? Are you European? Are you where are you from? And how old are you, by the way? Are you bald? Do you have like are you balding a little bit or receding? That's what I want to know. Just type it quickly. I want to know more about you. You can always talk to me on the phone, right? Go to my webinar, sign up, talk to me on the phone and see if you qualify. Send me a picture. Only receding, but full head. Okay. But is it badly receding? My one's kind of receding a little bit, but maybe that's my hairline. If you look at it, it doesn't change, but receding temples around here. Okay. So a little bit of cortisol effect. What about weight, right? At your weight, you're 5'5", right? How much do you weigh? Are you over 200 pounds or under? If you're over 200 pounds, it might be harder. That's right, like Henry Cavill. So kind of triangular like mine, but maybe more on the side there. No, I'm in shape. I work out. So how much do you weigh in terms of like, let's say you had some muscles. So people always tell me that they work out, right? But how much do you weigh in total? In terms of like, but my face is busted. Mm, I don't think that matters in terms of getting fashion and stuff, but it will be like if you have some muscles, you have something going for you, but you have your work cut out for you. It's gonna be tough. So you weigh about 160, right? So you're not 200. That's good. You weigh around like somewhere where I weigh. I'm a little bit heavier than you, you know? But regardless of that, then that's a good weight if it's all muscles. Yes. Hmm. I'm just telling you, it might be tough. It might be tough for you. If you can afford it, that's great. But you have to really show up for every single drill. You cannot procrastinate. If there's a little bit of cortisol affecting you, the face doesn't matter. As long as you have the same hairstyle as students in whitewash fashion, it doesn't matter. But you have to be like, because you're below 5'9" by 1 inch with elevator shoes, you will still struggle. It'll be uphill battle. That's what I'm saying. So receding a little bit, are you forgetful? Like, have you been more forgetful lately? Or you're not forgetful because you don't have money problems? Because some of the people, right, like Marco became more forgetful. Mr. D, right, has been more forgetful this year. But are you forgetful? Because the people that are forgetful, they don't get any results because the drills they don't remember. No, dude, I'm a software guy. So are you more like a logical guy, like more like social, like Asperger type, like software engineer, like logical, but the social skills aspect and the emotional part doesn't make any sense, but you want some results? Logical guy, yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty full graphic. You mean photogenic? You know, you should talk to me. You might not contact me, but you should check out my contact me page. Okay, so then I can see how you look like. We should probably talk on the phone. Are you willing to contact me? Here's my secret email. Write this down. I know most people do not contact me after I give them to them. I want to let you know that it exists. Contact. You send that into the thing, right? And you tell me that you are John Riggs, right? I will look at your picture. I'll give you an assessment. I'll find out more about you. It seems like you will struggle, but you will be like approaching like a 5'8" guy with elevator shoes. I can't get you any taller. Elevator shoes only go up 3 inches. That means you still have to make more approaches. In terms of the hair, I could fix everything else. If you really feel like you're busted, looks are not the most important thing. Most of my students are very average looking. They're all the students are super average looking. Other ways you can reach me, let me look. All right. How else can you take my coaching? Or you can sign up for the webinar. You can put your phone number in there too. The same day late webinar thing. If you put your number in there, I can just contact you on WhatsApp. Here's a second way of doing it. So I have a webinar on the Wix right here. You should check this one out. Okay. Try to click on it and try to bookmark it. This was easier. Okay. And what's the third way of contacting me? I have a contact me page over here, but it's been, yeah, it's kind of like tough because it says I don't want people that have no money to get free like consultations and waste my time. So the copywriting, I wrote it like that, is quite mean, but I had some people just want to waste time. Here's the third one. Here's 3 ways of contacting me. So if you're a good fit, I'll tell you. If you're not a good fit, I will not take your money. Does that make sense? There's no obligations. Here's the truth, okay? John Elite is so ethical. If you're not a good fit, I will not take your money. If I knew how bad the other half Latino guy was, I wouldn't have taken his money or let him join. Because I had another Latino student around the same height. He didn't do any homework. I can tell, right? If you can do your mindset playlist, like I will know right away. But please contact me and stuff like that. Is there a way I can contact you? Do you have an email? You can post it. I'll just delete it afterwards. How's that? Then I'll contact you. What's your email? I won't even say on the air. Can you type your email? For John. I'll just delete it right afterwards. Don't worry. I'll just write it down on a piece of paper. I'll contact you right away. Have you seen a guy? I don't know who that is. Well, if you look like that, right? Then that's fine. But what's your email? Don't worry, I'll delete it, or you can delete it afterwards. After I write it down. Wait, are you talking about the actor guy? The guy from the Wednesday? All right. If you look like him, right, and you're older or something like that, are you talking about the Wednesday guy? Right? Okay. So if that's exactly how you look like, are you as old as him or are you like younger? Are you like a younger version of him? Thing is that you have to be really whitewashed and also like yeah, we have to change your fashion then. But if you look kind of like that, right, a younger version, then you have to be very, very whitewashed. I'm 40. Okay. So you're a millennial then. That's fine. That's fine. Exactly. So contact me and see. I want to see if you can do it. If you can't do it, and I feel like, you know, that you are not enough and you're going to struggle, I will let you know. I won't take your money. I know that I want to make more money. I have less students this year because of the smear campaign. And also people are like level 2 become level 3. I mean, level 2 become level 0. Level 0 becomes like -1. I mean, level 1 becomes -1. But level 3 becomes level 1. But at the same time, if you're already level 3 and you can afford it, I don't care about the money. I'm looking for results. So for you, I have to make sure that you can get results. Otherwise, I won't take your money. Maybe I can recommend a lesser program. Does that make sense? I can probably pick a different program for you or combine something for you and charge less. Whatever gets you the results fastest. But 3MP, right? You have to qualify. We don't know for sure. And I'm going to ask you like some questions, right? A lot of questions to find out. Otherwise, I have no idea. But if you do join, you have to work really hard, right? Because the other guy's half Latino, half white. He barely showed up for approaching. He had some approach anxiety or some shit. Bad student. He barely showed up for drills, procrastinate. I'm not saying that all students are like that. That are Latinos. I have lots of people like late, but Marco got a girlfriend recently. Even without my coaching, he's been training with me for like the last 5-6 years. So he's got it down. But what I'm saying is that I'm only worried about the procrastination. If you procrastinate and just take a few days to do something, you won't get late. I can't get you late. You need to compress it. So that's one thing I've noticed about the Latino students. Remember, I love teaching the Latino students. I got so many of them late, but the compression is the hard part, the big sticking point. The big sticking point is the compression. It's easy to just not do it. It's not fun, but sometimes hot, is uncomfortable. Just because it's not comfortable does not mean it's bad. You take the road less traveled because everyone's taking the other road, mass approaching. That does not work at your height for a game global. Okay. Yep. I've gotten the results. It's good. Dude, I'm a freelancer. And time enhance also make money. Hey, that's awesome. If that's the case, but you have enough free time to practice, that's what I want to know. Do you have enough time to practice, or are you really super busy all the time? Because I need you to allocate a little bit of time each day to practice, if you can do that. Because some people are so busy, right, that they barely show up. If that's the case, you don't have money problems then. I have time. All right, talk to me. I think overall, I'll be asking you more of these questions to find more in details about all this stuff. BTC, everything. I want to know everything about everything. If you've gotten late before for Daygame, that's even better. That means I don't have to retrain somebody that's complete newbie, like a hard case newbie. That's good. So far, you seem to have all the right ingredients. Maybe you worry about the face. I'm more like worried about the height. That's all. And we'll see by the pictures about the age. Because when you get older, it becomes a little bit harder. But the economy is not affecting you. You might do well. But at the same time, right? Do expect that it's not like you will have to climb a mountain, or you do need strength. It's not going to just automatically, she's not going to jump on your dick. You have to level up all these skills. And it might take some practice. It might take a lot of adaptation. But if you're financially free and it's not affecting you, then you can still focus and have a memory but you just have to compress. That's the hard part. And you have to adapt. If you compress, you do all the drills, but you don't adapt, then I can't get you late. You have a memory, whatever, but you can't adapt, that's bad. So, like I said, this is proven to work, but it requires like memory, compression, and adaptation. Nobody's gonna say it's gonna be easy. And I know to market better, I'll say, oh, super easy, whatever. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm really gonna qualify hard. So I've had girlfriends when younger. Okay, that's good. And it got tougher for me in the face. It's just gotten weird for some reason. Okay, I see. So you have enough social skills and stuff to get a girlfriend and stuff like that. So I think you're probably in the right place. You can afford this. And because it requires some work, 3MP, in my opinion, so far seems suitable. Not Kaizen, because the other guy who smear campaigned me, he took Kaizen. He just was not financially well off. His voice sounds very angry, and he is full of cortisol. He runs away. But for you, since you've been able to close and get girlfriends before, you're a good candidate so far. Does that make sense? I think you have the right ingredients for this. But we should talk. Contact me. If I don't hear from you, it'll be like you'll waste your opportunity, because this is the prime time to get results. Maybe it's time to get you another girlfriend during this time period. What are you looking for exactly? Like, what's your goal? Are you looking to get married? Are you looking to like have a long-term relationship? Are you looking for another lay? What's your goal exactly? We'll email you tomorrow. Like I said, if you don't do it, I'll be disappointed. I'll be like, well, how you do anything is how you do everything. I guess he just wasn't qualified. But if you do contact me, we will talk on the phone. But what is the end goal? Realistically, I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm gonna get like 10 fucking fuck buddies. But okay, so the thing is that you have to get the first one. by having compression, adaptation, and also memory. What is your goal? Are you looking to get married? Are you looking to like settle down? Are you looking to play the fields a little bit before you do? What exactly are you aiming for? Because that will give me a better idea. Before I go, what is the end game? Like what results will you need in order to feel like realistic results where you feel like you need to feel like fuck yeah, you know? Then I get another video testimonial and then you get your results. But what are you aiming for? Because you're at an older age now, right? So a lot of students get married after a while. That's what I'm curious about. Are you considering marriage? These are really good questions, by the way. How about other people in the audience? Do some of you want to get married too? Is that what you guys are aiming for? What are your goals for other people? Kim Jong Un, what's your goals, right? Mr. D, if you're still there, what are your goals? Well, in case you don't reply after a minute, right? We'll talk on the phone. I'll ask you the same questions. I want to know more. So I gotta get going. I really worked hard to show up today. I said to myself, if I change somebody's life here, one person, this YouTube live is all worth it. If somebody had a new perspective about boot camps, that is a waste of time. I change your mindset. It is worth it. There's no brainwashing involved. I'm just telling you, this is the raw meat right here. Is exactly what it is like. And not everybody's qualified. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to screen extremely hard. But since I'm not getting a reply, I got to get going. But it was good talking to you. I'll be back next time. We'll pick a new topic. Okay. I wrote down the scripts already for the next one. We might talk about, let's see here. I have a list of videos I want to cover. So this one's done. Maybe we should talk about naturals, or we talk Marco's result, the Latino student, how he got like so many girlfriends, like 2 girlfriends, or one fuck buddy, 1 girlfriend, or it's like 2 fuck buddies, or like 2 lays every single year. We can compare it to the Indian student, or we can talk about naturals, or we can talk about day game versus night game versus Tinder, or why Asians turn mental. These are some topics I want to talk about. Why Indians should assimilate to sidestep Indian hate. RSD mass approaching no longer works. Mystery method is outdated. Why Riz is bullshit, Gen Z bullshit. These are some topics I want to cover. So I don't know what to cover next. But yeah, but regardless of that, I'm going to stop the stream and then we'll talk on the phone. Please send me a picture. I want to know exactly what you look like. Send me the best picture of you in your current fashion so I can kind of see from head to toe, even a close up of the face, right? Then I can see like if there's any gray hairs, any of this, that, double chin, receding hair, any of that stuff. All right, I'm going to end the YouTube live. Thank you for being here, guys. I'll be back as soon as possible. Okay? This reaches 100 views or something. I'll be back as soon as possible, even if it's 3 more times this month. So good talking to you. Take care, guys. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Adios.